Hey Taurus, this is Tina with 85th House Vibrations, and this is your general monthly reading for April 2019. I hope everybody is doing well. Taurus, how y'all feeling now that Uranus has settled into your sign? Uranus has moved to 1 degree Taurus, and Mars has been in your sign. It's actually about to leave your sign. I want to say Sunday. Let me see. Dang it. I think it is Sunday Mars moves into Gemini. So what I'm thinking about that, in one area of your life, the ball should have already gotten rolling on something. It's probably maybe something that you weren't expecting to happen. And I think I told you guys last month, before I just ghosted the whole series, and we'll get to that later. I told you that the next 7 years you will be learning to think on your feet if you don't already have that quality. So I feel like for some of you, excuse me, that something has happened that was pretty unexpected for you, and initially you may have just been moving right along. You just jumped into it and went with it. But with Mars moving out of your sign and moving into Gemini, I think you may be coming to a point where you start to deal with the intellectual part of the moves that you may have already made. Excuse me. You may shift away just for a moment, because Taurus is slow and steady wins the race. So even your fast may not have been as fast as others as you moved into handling whatever has come up for you over the past little while. So I think that you're going to shift a little bit, whatever area of life that is happening for you. And that's going to be wherever Taurus is in your chart, for those of you that are into astrology. This is where I feel like over the next month or so, 90 days, maybe 2 months, you're going to start to actively get into the intellectual details, like I said before, of the moves that you have made. And you may actually start actively meeting with people. There's some meeting of the minds I feel like is going on, especially with Mercury now stationed direct. And though it's sitting on top of Neptune right now, things will be a little fuzzy, but it's stationed direct, and here in a couple of weeks Mercury will be moving full speed ahead, and you'll be able to see things a little bit more clearly. Okay, enough said. 325, we're into this. The first card is the Magician reversed. And I think this supports kind of what I said as to, with Mercury having been retrograde, you may have made some moves without actively thinking about them. The Magician reverse, I think for you, is saying that you made some moves without having all the tools that you needed, without exactly knowing what was what. But that is what's going to change. That's what changes this month. You're going to have to go back and analyze and go over in a logical way what you've already done, what you've already moved towards. Ooh. Taurus, I want to say there may be some concern about people that you have already brought into your situation, because they may be seeing you as selling them some sort of dream. If you're a car salesman, you're selling lemons out here, according to everybody else. And it may not be because you were trying to do so intentionally. It was because You, for whatever reason, didn't have all the tools you needed. And I'm thinking that may have something to do with knowledge. The next card is the Seven of Coins reversed. You've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do to produce something physical. And for a lot of you, this is going on at your place of employment. And there may be somebody looking at you, Taurus, that's saying, this person's not necessarily producing what it is I need them to produce. I almost see this as selling yourself on an application and then getting to the place that you need to work, that you're going to work, and doing what they need you to do, and you're just not quite up to it. Let's just keep it real, because you lied on your application. It's been done. Don't feel bad if you've done this. But what I can say, Taurus, is when it comes to your work and your money and your professional relationships, you're gonna have to show and prove. It's not time to walk away just based on what you have already done. That's not gonna work for other people involved. So keep at it, because you're not at a point where you can enjoy the fruits of whatever it is that you have been moving towards. It's just not time for that yet. All right. The next card is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. This is a major arcana, and it's the 12th major arcana. Somebody that you are dealing with, somebody who loves you, is, or that you may love, is for whatever reason feeling like their hands are tied. Like there's something going on that is unclear to them, unclear in the relationship, something that is unattainable to you or them. This is how they feel right now. A person may feel like they're being, like they may be suffering for something that they feel like wasn't created by them. And this may be something that they feel like was created by you. And at this point, they feel like there's nothing that they can do either to help you, or nothing that they can do to help themselves. So this is another reason, Taurus, if you are currently in a relationship with somebody, they are looking for you to show and prove as well. I see get rich quick schemes that maybe right now only you believe in. As of right now, Taurus, you don't necessarily have the support of your professional peers or your significant other. There's some doubt. So what needs to happen, Taurus, is in the month of April, you need to find a way to upright this magician. This way people know that you're for real. Okay, let's see the next card. It's the Five of Swords. Taurus, there's a lot of conflict with the other people in your life. There's a lot of if you're not careful, you're going to have people turn their back on you. You could feel like you've won in this particular situation, but at what cost? Just to be honest, there are people who just do not agree with whatever it is that you've put in front of them right now. Whatever it is that you're trying to create or manifest, people don't understand it. People don't agree with it. Now, that's not to say that you're not right about what you're doing. But right now, what I'm saying is that those people that you're trying to convince, not only do they not believe in it and they don't support it, but it's going to come to some words. It's going to come to it's going to come to some battle. And you could walk away feeling like you got what you wanted out of the situation. But then again, you could also look back and see that you may have lost some people that were the closest to you. Now, sometimes you got to trim the fat. So what I don't know at this point is whether or not maybe you needed to get rid of these people. This conflict, maybe it needed to be created because maybe you are fighting for excuse me, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry, I had to clear my throat. Anyway, maybe you are fighting for a place of freedom of expression. You know, and sometimes everybody is not going to see your vision. And it still comes down to, if you want me to believe you, show me something. Because you're looking real suspect out here. Now, that's other people's feelings. That's what I'm saying. That's other people's stuff. They are the ones that have to live with that. It doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that you are wrong. And hopefully we can find out whether or not that's the case in the next couple of cards. Now, what is going to get you through all of this? What is your superpower? What is it that you can rely on that's going to help you move forward? It's going to help you get what you need. It's going to help you accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish. What is it that you can do that, despite any ill circumstance, can help you succeed? Oh, it's the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is saying sometimes you're on top and sometimes you end up at the bottom. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. But what it says is you can't remain on top forever. These wheels are constantly turning. Our fortunes are constantly changing. So, your superpower is going to be to understand that if you have to take a L, that's just life. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, but you're always moving. Now, what I want to see is what the outcome is going to be, because, you know, this could be, forget anybody else who don't want to ride with you, who don't want to be on board. We're going to trim the fat, just like I said before. The outcome card, so far as I'm concerned, is going to determine whether or not you're taking an L, or whether or not those people you're having conflict with just don't understand the value in what's put in front of them. You got three major arcana here with the Magician, the Hanged Man, and the Wheel of Fortune. Now, if you've been confused, Taurus, you know, if we just look at this overall and you've been confused and you've been conflicted because you don't see results, you are going to move forward. Now, that's what overall this could be. This could be all in you if we look at these cards collectively. Maybe you're just going through something on your own and you hadn't felt like you've seen enough results to move forward, and you've been in major doubt and major conflict and beating yourself up about what you thought it is that you knew, or what you thought it is that you had. And the Wheel of Fortune still says sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, but you're going to move out of it. So the outcome card, well, how about that, is the Five of Cups reversed. Heartbroke, we will be no more. Our perspective will change and we will realize there's been some L's taken, or there's going to be an L taken, or Taurus, definitely there's been and is going to be what you feel like is a loss, right? But the Wheel of Fortune, like I just said before, is saying that you move through it. And the Five of Cups reversed as an outcome card is saying whatever it is that you've been heartbroken about, that you've been disappointed about, whatever it is that you have neglected to take a look at, because the only thing you can see is what it is that you've lost. You will realize in the month of April, and I figure it's probably when Mercury comes out of its retrograde, which it's already out, but as it gets closer and closer to being out of its shadow, and you make these connections with that Mars and Gemini connection, I think there's going to be, like I said, some fighting between you and some other people. These people will walk away. But guess what? You're going to keep moving. And what you initially see as not having been successful, what it is that you saw as not having been what you wanted it to be, I'm not saying that particular thing is going to change. What I'm saying is your perspective will change, and you will see that there's still more out there for you. In the upright position with these cups down, you can see that there are two still standing behind them. So there is still something that the Wheel of Fortune is going to move you towards. As soon as your perspective changes, as soon as you get over feeling like you can't go on because you're too busy crying over spilled milk, which is what the Five of Cups represents to me. So that's the way I see it, Taurus. If you'd like to get a personal reading with me, my information is in the description box. You can follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and that information is there as well. It was great talking to you guys, and I hope to talk to you again next month.